Welcome, friends, to another pandemically erotic episode of Crept from the 80s. And here we are with a continuing adventure into the land of Halloween. Another Halloween-centric episode, and this one is about the particular movies, specials, TV shows, what have you, that I watch during the holidays. As I've said before, I am a horror fan. I've been a horror fan since a little kid. Halloween is not my favorite holiday. Christmas is. It always has been. But Halloween is right behind it. Because being a horror fan, you're sort of, it's not a particular time of the year that you are surrounding yourself in horror. If you are a horror fan, it's year-round. Things get a little heightened. September, October, the fervor for the holiday begins to build, and the decor and the atmosphere, the sounds, the sights, the smells, all that good stuff, the pumpkin spices and whatnot, and I get that, and that is fun. Certainly is fun. But some of these movies that I'm going to talk about, I watch year round anyway. Some of these several times a year. So. Yeah, but in the spirit of the holiday, in the spirit of Halloween, and I decided to just make this this video about the films that I watch every year that are either Halloween themed or give me that feeling around the holidays. But for the most part, they're all pretty much Halloween themed, and a couple of them are of recent years and will become official watches during the season for sure. And so I will go through this now. I didn't really include the TV shows, like the TV episodes. For the most part, like any person around my age in their 40s, the Halloween themed episode was very big in the 70s and 80s, and somewhat into the 90s as well. And I hear it is today with a lot of modern television shows, but I don't watch a lot of the modern sitcoms and whatnot. So I'm not aware of any of the Halloween stuff that's happening in those particular shows. So when I'm talking about Halloween episodes, it's primarily the Growing Pains and the Kate and Alley's and Highway to Heaven and Amazing Stories and of course Roseanne, things like that. And then in the 90s we had the Home Improvement and they did Halloween episodes and things like that. So but this is just, I guess, more so the specials or the TV movies in addition to the films that give me that lovely feeling. So first we have It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I'm a big Peanuts guy, and their specials were a staple for all kids growing up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's a tradition, and I love the special. I love their Christmas special as well, and this is just a really great, fun, warm, nostalgic feeling of a cartoon for me, and I watch it every single year and have since I was a little lad, a little savage running around, And I'm sure, most of these, if not all of these, are on everybody's holiday list for watching Spook 'em Ups. Let's go into Mr. Boogedy and Bride of Boogedy. I don't watch Bride of Boogedy every year, but Mr. Boogedy I certainly do. At least the last 15, 20 years or so. On bootlegs or VHS copies or YouTube or whatever. And then a couple years ago I finally got this through the Disney thing they had going on, like exclusive like club deal or whatever. And now if you've got Disney Plus, they're both on Disney Plus. But here it is on DVD. Mr. Boogedy. And now this, you might be looking at me like, what the? Why you watching something like this? But it's because, listen, I may be 43, but if you don't know by now, certainly watching this channel, I am a giant kid at heart. I haven't quite grown up yet. And I love childlike wonder and awe and things like that. So I still watch the Halloween Town movies, at least the first two. I watched the first two. I'm not a huge fan of the last two, certainly not the last one they made. But these first two I find are, classics of the holiday. It's just fun, they're cheesy, they're, they're made for kids, but I enjoyed them as well. And when they came out, I was already in my adult years, but they appealed to me. I enjoyed the atmosphere and the fun and the spookiness of it. And of course, Halloween Town. The fact that there is a Halloween Town, you can visit it, and the stars will come out and do autographs and pictures and whatnot and that. So yeah, Halloween Town. Again, I'm sure a lot of these are going to be on people's lists. This I was. What was I, 15, 16 when this movie came out? This is Hocus Pocus. This is the Steelbook Blu-ray edition. I love this movie. And it is a year-rounder for me. I did see it in the theaters when it came out. And it just, it worked for me, I might get some hardcore horror guys who believe you can't watch anything else unless it's intense and total brutality and bleh. Well, that's not me. I give it all. I want all I like the children's Halloween horror and the young teens and young adults and all that stuff and the whole package. I love it all. And Hocus Pocus is a every single year. So I'm still hoping, nay, I'm begging Crom to give us a part 2. I have not read the sequel novel, but I know for years they've been teasing this part 2. I think Disney Plus gave it the green light last year. And the three, Sarah Jessica Parker and Bette Midler and Kathy Najimy, they've been playing coy. But I also know that all three of them have expressed interest and passion for another Hocus Pocus. So I'm hoping that, next year we get a Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney Plus. That would be so awesome. I just want to see the Sanderson sisters again. And I would love to see that whole world again. I think it's a great, fun, family Disney Halloween movie, Hocus Pocus. This next one, friends, I absolutely adore this movie. This is a made-for-TV movie from 1985 that is just chef's kiss, and it is The Midnight Hour. Yeah. Ooh. This I mean, it's super cheesy, and it's, the 80s, of course, where we had 20-somethings playing teenagers, which was, rampant in all the stuff we loved, other than the John Hughes stuff, which seemed to really cast teenagers in the roles. But everything else going on, you had, 25, close to 30-year-olds playing 16-year-olds. And this is no exception, and this has a lot of stars from back then. Young up-and-comers, Peter DeLuise and LeVar Burton and Dee Dee Pfeiffer and, Lee Montgomery from Girls Just Want to Have Fun. But this movie is just pure, for me, it is pure Halloween. And this is a movie that, when it aired, which I believe was on the day after Halloween in 1985, it was an ABC or NBC, one of those special night at the movies. I, for some reason, completely missed it. I don't know why it never hit my radar. Certainly at that time I was a television kid. I was a pop culture sponge, and that stuff would have been I would have been sucking it up. So I don't know why the Midnight Hour passed my vision. I have no idea. Then it wasn't until 2009 when my good friend Andrew was like, "Yo, dude, have you ever seen the Midnight Hour?" And I'm like, "What?" And he tells me all about it. And he's like, "You will love it." And he showed it to me, and it was a revelation. It was like a lost classic, lost 80s movie. I love discovering 80s shit that is good and that I didn't know about, because I'm pretty versed in the world of 80s pop culture and the 80s films and television and whatnot. And to have Midnight Hour pass me by, one, I'm a monster kid. Two, it was a TV movie with all these people in them. I just, Halloween, all this stuff, I can't believe that it passed me by. But I love it. This is the unofficial soundtrack. I have the Anchor Bay this and the that, and a friend of mine, Zach, is putting together for me. I asked him to do because I want to do a fan Blu-ray, and he put together a beautiful HD version of the film. And I'm going to have myself and Andrew do some fan commentary and behind the scenes and whatnot, and we'll have a nice little Blu-ray of the Midnight Hour to give out to fans. I'm not charging, just give it out to fans, man. If they want it, hit me up. But Brad Fiedel, who is one of my favorite composers because of Terminator and, of course, my favorite horror film of all time, Fright Night, did the score to the Midnight Hour. There's just, all things are running on all sort of Halloween cylinders for that film, and I really, really love it. I think it's fantastic. And that is sometimes twice a year, if I'm in the mood, whatever, I will watch that movie. I love it. This is Rankin and Bass's Mad Monster Party. I'm a giant Rankin Bass fan. There's a Christmas episode on the channel where I talk specifically about Rankin and Bass and my love for that production house, those two men, and a magic that they brought to us kids growing up. So Mad Monster Party, I did not remember as a kid. I didn't see Mad Monster Party until my mid to late teens. And that was because it was on television. It was on maybe a TNT or TBS or AMC or something like that. And that's where I first saw it. And then I was like, oh my God, Halloween and Rankin Bass, this is too good to be true. So, I had I had a VHS of this. I had the original DVD when it came out, and then of course I had to upgrade to the Blu-ray. And this just really fun. Trick or Treat Studios makes masks based on the characters from this film, and it's just really fun. If you like Rankin Bass, you love their just magic that they give us kids, and you love Halloween. I mean, this is a go-to every year. Every year. Now this, yeah. I mean, this is, again, this shit's gonna be on everybody's list, right? This movie comes out. I am. What am I? I am mid-teens, and I saw every one of these films in the theater until it was done in the theaters because of a certain movie that destroyed the theatrical presentation of his films. But Ernest Scared Stupid, giant Ernest fan, grew up with his commercials in the 80s. And then, of course, the movies, the television show, I got it all. But Ernest Scared Stupid, this is every single year, sometimes twice a year. A lot of Ernest movies I watch over and over again. This is a movie where the girlfriend I had at the time, we went to see this in the theater, and all she wanted to do was make out. And I was like so offended and appalled because, one, I'm the Seavage. I'm going to a movie to enjoy the film. You come with me, date or whoever you are, you're there to enjoy the film as well. We're not there to hanky or panky. Do you understand me? We're there to watch and get engulfed in the magic and the story and the cinema we're seeing. So you come to me and you try to get all frisky while I'm watching Ernest Scared Stupid. It ain't happening, dame, princess. So I had to push her aside and say, this is Ernest. We're watching Ernest Scared Stupid. You know, there's a couple movies where the movie turned out to be pretty garbage while we were watching it in theaters, and I decided to give in to the lusts of the young teenage libido. But this isn't one of them. I'll never forget it. I think she felt so betrayed. But you don't come between the Seavage and his Ernest. So yeah, Scared Stupid is a Halloween classic every single year. This one I don't know if this is on people's list. I don't know what people think of this film in general, but for me, I absolutely love it. I remember the theater experience. I still have my ticket stub from this film. This is Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. This is a sumptuous feast for the eyes, for the senses. This is Tim Burton making a Hammer film. I love Hammer. I love this movie. I love the set decoration. I love the colors, the palette, the blood. This is a Hammer movie by way of Tim Burton, and I love every delicious minute of it. Here's my issue. Every version that has been put out, DVD, the Blu-ray, whatever it is, I think the best way I ever saw it was when I was in the theater, because they have straight jangumed the quality, the presentation of this film on home media. And I'm hoping that at some point there is a 4K true restoration of this film, because they've done this film dirty. But I love the film, and I watch it every year. I watch a bunch of Tim Burton films every year, throughout the year, but that one is around the holiday for sure. This one is a more recent film, very recent, but I saw it. I missed it in the theaters, and I saw it very recently at my good buddy Bobby's house, and he had it, and I was like, I really want to watch this. I I missed it, and I think it would be something. I read the books when I was little, and in my teenage years, and things like this, and Goosebumps, and Are You Afraid of the Dark? It didn't matter that I was a mid to late teens and going into my 20s and all that stuff. When all that stuff was happening, I still loved it because of my childlikeness and the love of that feeling and atmosphere and everything. So Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, produced by Guillermo del Toro, co-written by Guillermo. This was fantastic. So we watched it, and I was like, we got to go to Walmart, and I picked it up, immediately. And I just showed my wife the other night on our beautiful 4K projector and screen, and I should have the 4K. I don't know why I don't, but it looks wonderful, sumptuous anyway. This is a great Halloween spooky kids horror movie with some bite, with some edge, just like the stories, and I absolutely loved it. And this will be a yearly rotation film for sure. We'll probably watch it a few more times before the year is out, if I'm honest, because I do want to show my son as well. But I was taken with it. I think it's great, and I know they're making a sequel, which is fantastic. Another recent gem. The making of this movie was in 2007. I followed the making of this movie. I wanted to see it in any way that I could. It was playing film festivals. This is, of course, a modern classic, as I say. And in 2009, when it came to home video, at that point it had gained like a cult following because of all the screenings and the festivals and everything. And when it came out on Blu-ray, I immediately got it, and I set up my buddies Ben and Travis, and we watched it for the first time together, and we flipped for this movie. We loved it, and I mean, Ben, obviously, he's creator of Fright Rags. This is a Fright Rags shirt. He loves the films as well. I'm talking about Trick or Treat. This is a modern classic of the last 10, 12, 13 years, whatever. Absolutely love it. Yes, we watch it every holiday, Halloween season, but I watch it, in the summer, whenever I get it itching to watch this film, we watch it, and I love it. It is a classic, modern classic, and I wish to Crom that they would just give us that second one. Please. I mean, come on, Michael Dougherty, you know. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say about this flick. This is on most everybody's list. It is a... Talk about feeling Halloween. Talk about being nostalgic for a movie that is only, 13 years old. It just has that nostalgic feeling, like you've grown up with it. One of the best anthology films of all time, right up there with Creepshow. Trick or Treat. And then we got this. This movie, I first saw it in probably the late '80s on VHS. It has never had a good release at all. This is the best release I've ever seen, for sure. And I'm talking about 1986 Trick or Treat, Sammy Kerr. And we got Mark Price, who played Skippy in one of my favorite television shows of all time, Family Ties. This movie is great. It's a heavy metal Halloween horror flick. To me, it's a classic. And every release is garbage, but this is a German Blu-ray, of the film, and it's pretty damn good. And until Lionsgate or for their Vestron or Scream Factory picks this up, or some boutique company picks this up, I doubt we're gonna see it any better. But I really hope we do, because I think it deserves a real, honest to goodness, kick-ass special edition release. But this is one of those several times a year I watch this movie, not just around the Halloween season. Trick or treat. Same with these. Classics in my book. 80s and 90s. Watch them every year. I'm talking about Night of the Demons and Night of the Demons 2. Kevin Tenney and Brian Trenchard Smith. Classics in my book. I have loved Night of the Demons since I rented it on VHS in the 80s. It is a go-to, not just Halloween film, but it's a go-to horror film, 80s horror film. Got the theatrical poster hanging up right over there. Never forget when it finally came out on VHS and me renting it, and the standee we had and Video Connection, and it's just a great film. This is a great release. When this came out, we had never seen this movie look so fucking good. And it's fantastic. And I love Part 2. I don't know how many fans out there. I hate Part 3. Part 3 really, really sucked for me. But Part 2 I love, so when Olive Films put this out, I had to get the Blu-ray. It's got a nice commentary, but it looks fantastic. Again, we didn't see this ever on widescreen. This came out on VHS. It was a straight-to-video movie. And I nabbed it up as soon as it came out, because I was always reserving the films that I wanted at Video Connection. This another great Halloween horror flick. Perfect sequel to Part 1. Adds more goofy humor to it. Still, we got the effects by Steve Johnson. Great stuff. Of course, we got some nice busty bovine beauties in this, all natural juggalo juggies. But great films. Watch them every year. And then, of course, here we are with the granddaddy of the Halloween films, of the Halloween watching season. We got the Halloween films. Now, truth be told, I really only watch 3, maybe 4 of these flicks every year, and that's Halloween, Halloween 3, and Halloween 4. Those are the movies that I always watch. Sometimes I watch 2, sometimes I watch 5 because of the continuation from 4. But always 1, 3, and 4 for sure. I think they are wonderful classics. Obviously, the first film is the best of the Halloween films, and for me, Part 4 is the second best. Watch them every year. And I am adding Halloween 2018 to that list. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. I don't like the very end very much, but that doesn't ruin the film for me. I think this is a beautiful continuation, and I can't wait for the next 2 films. And this is I'm going to start watching it every single year, And for 2 years, I have watched this. And it'll be on the list. We'll be watching it for our Halloween party that's coming up. And yeah, so there. Oh, so this I have not watched yet, but I had to pick it up being a giant Scooby-Doo fan, Hanna-Barbera fan. This is Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo original movie. Wish it was on Blu-ray, but that's okay. It's animated. It's fine. It's got Elvira in it, so I'm excited about that. So I have not watched it yet. I got it a couple months ago, but yeah, I haven't watched it yet, and I'm really excited to. I'm going to watch it soon. So hopefully it's good and it'll be added to the rotation. But those are the movies, folks, that I watch every single year for the Halloween season. We watch more horror flicks. There's stuff on, Shudder and all the streaming channels that we've enjoyed. And there's certainly more horror that we watch. But those are the ones that I absolutely watch every year, and the things that have been added to the rotation list. So that's a good chunk, man. That is a good chunk. And now I'm going to go through a quick little pickups or haul section real quick. I like to do these. People seem to like what the Sievage picks up. So here we go. You all know that G.I. Joe is back. Hasbro has brought back the brand and is launching it bigger than it has been in a very long time. And they these are the new sort of retro feel, vintagey feel G.I. Joe figures. And I picked up Baroness. And I picked up Snake Eyes. And these are at like Walmart, Targets, what have you. And Storm Shadow. It's got the, it's a vintage, modern smash together, and very reminiscent of the 25th anniversary editions, but these are new sculpts and more articulation and accoutrements, and I mean, for me, they look way better than the 25th anniversary editions, but I'm pleased with them. And yeah, so we got those. I did pick up, I am a fan of this cartoon, not all of it, but most of it. I do own it, but when it was airing I certainly watched it because this property is beloved. So I picked up the NECA animated versions based on the cartoon of Marty and Doc from the Back to the Future cartoon. Also, I picked these up at Target, but you can get them in Walmart as well, boutique shops. Now this was a surprise. This was sent to me by a very good friend / extended family member as far as I'm concerned. I've known him, pretty much 25 years, something like that, 24 years. Chris Walk, who is joining me on the He-Man show at Crept from Eternia that we did. We just did a second episode, which will be going up after all the Halloween stuff on the channel. But he knows that one of my favorite characters from the He-Man She-Ra world is Hordak. And I really was, I'm not a big Motu Classics guy. The Classics line that Matty Collector and Super 7 put out, just because the prices were insane and there was just so many of them, and you had to be a member, or you had to do it quick, or else you were going to pay scalper prices and this, that, and the other thing. I just always felt, bring He-Man back to the masses as it should be, and thankfully now we're there. Mattel came back strong and relaunched Masters of the Universe, and if you're on this channel, you know all the Masters stuff. We got Masters of Crept from Eternia, the first episode, down on the channel. But been going He-Man crazy lately. But he knew that one of my grails to go after for modern toys was I just recently got the original 1985 Hordak figure, which I had as a kid, and now I have it complete as an adult, thanks to Matt Brassfield. And now, thanks to my good friend Chris Walk, I have the Super 7 Filmation 2.0 Hordak figure based on the cartoon representation. And it is beautiful, and yes, I will be taking it out of the package because I want to pose want to pose him. I have the Classics, Super 7 Classics line Grizzlor and Mantenna as well. And I have my originals from the original Masters line. And I have the Super 7 retro molded original looking Motu Filmation Hordak in there. Yeah, you'll see. But I have that, and now I have this, and that is awesome. And it was such a surprise. I thank him so much. Hell, I mean, so awesome. So Red, I can't take it out and pose them. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this this episode of A Crept from the 80s. I think there's going to be maybe one more Halloween-themed episode before we get back to the regular sort of eps, and we got some good eps. Got some good episodes coming up. More Tansky, more Jason McCall, a whole bunch of different stuff. Ooh, if you're a fan of my films, we got a series of videos coming up where I sit down with a person with one of my good friends who happens to be an actor from my films, and we're going to go through certain films that they loved making the most out of my 29-year history of making these films. The good, the bad, the ugly of all of it. And it's going to be like real fun, behind-the-scenes look at some of these by the people who are involved in them. And so that should be really cool. But we got some great stuff coming up. And then, of course, near the end of November, going into December, whew, we got some new Christmas eps coming up. It's going to be great. 'Tis the season, guys. So thank you for joining us. Thank you to all the new subscribers who have just joined. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, almost at 100,000 views, which is insane. So thank you so much. If you like this video, please check out the other videos. If you dig it, subscribe, give us a like, talk about your favorite Halloween films in the comments. We love to interact. We want that camaraderie. We want the Crept from the 80s community. Yeah, that's it, guys. So thanks again, and stay safe. That pandemic is still out there, crushing and destroying and making things poop-filled for people. So do what you got to do. Stay safe, and join us for another episode of A Crept from the 80s. We'll see ya.